why would I rebuild SwiftUI from scratch? In 30 years of programming, it's the toughest thing I have ever attempted. So Apple's SwiftUI framework is fantastic for building user interfaces, but this stuff only looks simple because of what is going on behind the scenes. It's incredibly complex behind the scenes. And the thing you find once you start pushing at the boundaries of Apple's frameworks is that sometimes they just don't give you quite what you need. So here are some examples of what pushed me over the edge with SwiftUI. So this is a simple transition. We're going from a blue bit to a green bit, and we're just changing that when we toggle that left value with an animation. You can see that there, and then we've got this little state thing to toggle it every 2 seconds. So we've just got a nice animation. That's like so easy compared to some other ways of doing animation. We just, declarative, really easy to read. You can see what's going on. But I don't just want to render it to an iPhone screen. I'm not just trying to send this to the GPU. I want to render to a virtual camera. So I actually need like those pixels back so I can do something with them. I need the output as an image. So that's what image renderer is supposed to be for. It creates images from SwiftUI views. Perfect. So let's give it a go. So we'll flip this SwiftUI view round, pipe it through image renderer and see what happens. So what are we getting? Oh, it just doesn't show the transition. It only shows the beginning and end states. Well, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? So let's try something else. There's this timeline view thing, which lets you use basically a frame counter, pass that into something, give it the date basically, and you can turn that into an animation. So this is getting bigger and smaller based on the timeline view. What happens when we look at image renderer? It's just stuck. Apparently image renderer doesn't support timeline view. So yeah, that's another thing that's no good. But yeah, really, I'm just trying to make a camera app. So I wonder what happens if I try to add a camera. So this is the usual song and dance you end up doing to show a camera view, especially on Mac OS. You've got this NS view, AV capture preview layer, and then you're sort of wiring in a session using view representable to wrap that in a form that then SwiftUI can put as part of its own view hierarchy. And usually this is fine. You can see it's working there. But what happens when we pipe this through image renderer? We get absolutely nothing. We get an error message. So that's not going to work. But, this is pretty complicated, right? Like we're sort of crossing a lot of framework boundaries here. It's having to stick stuff in a view host, split view hosting view, split. I don't know what it's doing here, but like behind the scenes, maybe it's a bit complicated. Maybe I'm expecting too much. So let's try and keep it a bit more native SwiftUI. And use SwiftUI's video player. So this is bundled with SwiftUI. Let's see what we get. So we just fire up this video player, put that in the hierarchy and load in an AV player there. Grab that, start it playing. There it is, it played. What happens when we put that through image renderer? And this again. So basically, this was me for ages, just trying to figure out how to use SwiftUI for video, but I just kept hitting these landmines. But I really wanted that declarative thing. The way I was doing it was just too complicated to reason about. Like I was just hitting all these bugs and things because things were across different frames. I just wanted a declarative state that said, this is how my camera app should look. The framework, you figure out how to get from A to B. But since Apple clearly wasn't going to solve this for me, I just had to take matters.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And then some time went by. And so this only took about 10,000 lines of code, but I did get there in the end, and this is shipping in production code, my own version of SwiftUI that works for video. So let's have a look. Here's those simple transitions. Let's try it with RealtimeSwift. So here we've got real-time view, the same colors, and then I have to do it through an observable state. I'm not really supporting state in my framework. I can make different decisions, but you see it's just like every 2 seconds doing the transition. I can give it an easing function. I can do all the same sorts of things, but now it's like more optimized for video. And it's actually more in a sort of 30 to 60 frames per second rather than Apple stuff, which is supposed to work at like 120, 240 frames or whatever. But okay, let's have a look at the timeline animation. So here we go. We've got the SwiftUI version, and then the RealtimeSwift version is basically the same thing. but it works. Right? So I'm getting my frames out of my renderer now, and I can put them into the video feed. And that's how all this that I'm showing you here, this demo, is working as well. And so the camera, well, I did come up with a slightly different model for how cameras work. So you can see this. Basically, we're saying there's this really important primitive in RealtimeSwift is this real-time source view, where you just give it a string, which is like a resource name, which you provide via the source registry here. So real-time source registry, camera source, and then I just grab the default camera source, which I know is for this demo is called FaceTime HD camera. So that's how simple it is to stick that up on the screen, and that just works. So that's my solution to showing different kinds of video feeds. And videos are similar. So here we're just like registering a movie source instead. So I am going through to here, and this time I've got movie source demo.mov environment, and then that's just sort of doing the same thing. Movie source, bundle main URL for resource, registering that, starting it playing, and that's just playing. Okay, I think I confused myself a bit there because of the content of the video. So if you're interested in learning more about this, I am at Michael at Squares TV, or you can jump into my Discord. Thank you for watching.